Hello. I managed to kidnap my partner. This is John.
Hello.
He suffers with mental health issues, and I'm going to kind of like ask him a few questions on that subject. So I kind of like a little bit of a mental health interview kind of thing. So my first question is, what is it you suffer with mental health wise?
I suffer from several things, but the main one is depression and feelings of inadequacy. I also have anger issues, which I'm not really proud to say about.
Okay, your depression. What type of depression is it? Because there are different types of depression, and so what
I have,
type is it?
on the scale of depression of things, I'm quite low on the scale of because I have reactive depression, which can also be like considered one of the more dangerous forms of depression because like you've got people that are chronically depressed, so they're low all the time, they're very suicidal, and they're constantly watched around the clock. Then you've got the bipolar, where they can be low for a long time and then high for a long time. And then you've got reactive. I could be fine, something really silly happens, like I spill my drink, knock something over. And that triggers a downward spiral of feeling useless, hopeless, everything I do turns to crap, everything. And it just spirals down, and it's quite dangerous because anything can set it off. And when I hit the bottom point, that can then sometimes, not in my case, but in most people's cases, that can then become either a chronic form of depression or a bipolar form of depression. So it's quite hard to diagnose unless it's currently happening.
Yeah, so like reactive depression. So I was going to say, how does that affect you? But you've kind of like explained a bit about that. Like,
I explained what it is really, but how it
yeah,
affects me is like during my day-to-day tasks. I'll be doing the washing up. I'll be washing up, cleaning up as you do. It's all on the side, and I think, great, wonderful, I've done that. I'm proud of myself. And you think that how could that set someone off? But I come back, and the fork that I washed up is now dirty. I feel like I didn't do a good job. Not like somebody's used it again. It's like it's still dirty
you
because
missed a
I
spot.
missed a
Yeah,
spot.
yeah,
And I feel like, well, now I've got to do the entire load again, and I don't want to do the entire load again because I've just done it, and I can't do the washing up, and I'm no good at washing up.
yeah.
Why do I? And that's how it affects
So
me.
do you,
So everyday tasks become this freaking molehill that
yeah.
turns into a mountain.
So do you think these little things that go wrong, do you think they're not actually the thing that you're upset about? They're just a kind of
There's certainly a trigger, yeah.
a trigger, yeah, but do you think it's not that you're upset about, it's something bigger,
Yeah.
but you're kind of laying that out on that thing
Yeah.
of, I can't think of the right word, but
Yeah, because the washing up has got dirt on it, something that stems inside me from the fact that it's still dirty, to me, people will be like, I'll just wash it again, not a problem.
that's
For me,
the
that's,
word. Deflection.
yeah, deflection.
You're deflecting it onto that small thing when it's something bigger that's
Well,
causing the
I,
issue.
I wouldn't say I'm deflecting it on to the thing. It's like, I'm not like angry at the fork for being dirty. I'm not
Yeah,
depressed because
You're
the fork is dirty. I'm depressed because the fork isn't clean. Because
yeah,
I failed, which is the
yeah,
inadequacy, to clean it the first time.
yeah,
And this stems from the way I was raised. I mean, I had one parent where this is going to sound like an exaggeration. It is, but it's only so you get like the picture.
it's the way you see it.
I could crap in my hand and show it to my mum, and I'd get a gold star. I couldn't do any wrong by her. But my dad, I could do the greatest thing ever, and it was a waste of time. You're a piece of, because not because he was a nasty, mean person, but he was the other extreme. I had
Yeah,
middle ground, but because of my brain, the way it's wired, I only remember the really bad things he did and all the really good things my mum did. And I had a fairly good upbringing parent-wise, but because of my brain, it's all wired. So when I do the washing up, I think, yes, I've done it. I've accomplished a little feat in myself because I've proven to myself that that wasn't so hard. Stop being a big baby. And then I see that I've missed a tiny little spot, which, there you go, problem solved.
So,
And I think, well, I've missed that spot, then I must have missed other spots. I'm a failure. My dad was right. I can't do anything right.
so do you think the other mental health issues you have, anxiety, I know you have,
Yeah.
how does that affect you?
Well, again, the anxiety can trigger the depression and vice versa. And I'll also go back to the inadequacies because it's the feeling of inadequacy that triggers the depression.
Yeah.
So if I feel that I'm not good enough, I get worried that everything I do, not just that thing, everything I do is a failure. This is why I set up a YouTube channel for myself so I could do my channels, my ideas that I have, but I never do them.
So do you think
It's self-destructive.
the depression and you feeling inadequate about stuff makes you anxious to try new things or anxious to do things because you think, oh, if I do it, it's going to go wrong, it's going to cause a whole big hoo-ha and the world's going to end, and is that the kind of thinking you get into because of the depression?
Sometimes it depends on what's going on. It's not always like the end of the world, but if left unchecked, sometimes crying over spilt milk is the end of the world. Because I know it sounds petty, and I shouldn't liken it to, oh, you're just being silly. But I feel that way about myself because I know personally, mentally, physically, that the things I'm getting upset about with the depression, with my anger issues, with my anxiety, I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, because you get into that mindset where you think, oh,
it's silly.
Why am I getting upset at this? It's just spilt milk. I can get a cloth, mop it up. It's all fine. And you get angry at yourself for
having spilled
getting
milk.
Depressed over spilling the milk, and then it just creates a snowball effect.
Yeah, self-destructive behaviour. Like, one of the things, I play video games, it's known, I'm lazy, I like video games, a lot of people play video games, and I hear a lot of controversy, video games make you violent, video games is really good for the brain. I don't really care for those stories. I play video games, I enjoy them, they make, I like doing puzzles, that helps my brain, I like playing gun games, that gets rid of my aggression, I like playing The Sims, I like to play all sorts of things. But if I'm playing a video game, the video game says, press A to jump, I press A and my character doesn't jump.
Yeah.
I start to get annoyed. But when I was a kid, it says press A to jump, I press A, it doesn't jump.
Yeah.
It's not my fault, but I'm being punished for it. Why?
Yeah.
Little did I know, the controller wasn't plugged in. It's stupid shit like that. It's like, that anger blinds you, and then you...
I think
it's like when you stub your toe on a table and you blame the table.
With depression, I think what it is it grips hold of your brain, and it stops you from thinking clearly, and
depression is actually a chemical imbalance in the brain which blocks the signals. So it can be caused one of two ways with these chemicals. Either your brain, these are going to sound similar, but they're very different. Either your brain does not create enough serotonin, which is the happy juice, the happy juice, or it creates too much dopamine, which is I can't fucking go on.
That's the sad.
The sad one.
Yeah.
Now you think, oh, they sound the same. If you're creating too much dopamine, obviously you're not creating enough serotonin. No. Because when you don't create enough, right, your brain should be level like this, right? Like chemical-wise, you should have dopamine and serotonin. That's the normal brain, right? Now, if you don't create enough serotonin, this drops. And this creates the low mood. This is the dopamine. This makes you sad, right? But if you create too much dopamine, this outblocks it. You can still feel joy, but you're sad because you're happy.
Yeah.
And reactive bipolar does this. Basically, bipolar means that the dopamine goes up, and then the serotonin comes down, then the serotonin comes up, and then the dopamine comes down.
Yeah,
This is
constantly
right?
on the move, changing levels. Yeah.
Now, the fact that the dopamine drops, which is only happens in bipolar, is that that's usually the pills doing that. And at this point, they're just like,
Yeah.
they're drugged out of their mind. That's a bit harsh, doing that like crazy laugh, but nothing bugs them at that point. Reactive depression, the brain is like this. As soon as something happens, boom.
Yeah.
And then that takes a while to come down.
Yeah. So, but you said when you were a kid you had anger issues, you had ADHD, things like that. Do you think when you were a kid maybe you had mental health issues and maybe much wasn't known about it, so
Yes.
you went without the proper support and help and treatment?
Yes, I was always constantly being told by my dad that I'm a retard, and that I'm useless, and I believed it. But I think the hardest thing for me growing up was that I wanted to make friends. I wanted to have friends. I just didn't know how. I was socially inept, and I mean, I know.
Social anxiety, I guess, in a way. Maybe.
Oh, it wasn't anxiety. I developed the anxiety from it because I wanted to walk up to people and be like, "Hi, how are you? Yeah, my name's John. It's nice to meet you. What's your favourite Pokemon card? That kind of thing." As a kid, growing up, is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And other people would approach me, seeing that I was a troubled child, and they'd be like, "Hey, John, how are you?" Now, in my mind, they've come up and said, "Hey, John, how are you?" And I've gone, "Hey, I'm fine, thanks for asking."
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm going, "Don't talk to me! Don't talk to me! Don't!" And I don't know why this body was doing this, because mentally I felt calm, but physically I was hitting them. And people called me a bully for that. But I started to learn to control my aggression, my anger, and I only used it on the people that picked on other people after a while. I mean, I'm not going to say I was a bully turned saint, but it's the case of that I was a misunderstood teen, a misunderstood child. At home, I'd be sat there playing with my toys, talking with the toys, because they were my only friends. This is Hulk Hogan, he's about the power slam, and yeah, you're going to say wrestling made me violent. Yes, it did, but I was violent before then. That's how I dealt with it. I could relate because, there was like, Hulk Hogan was like, "Oh, you stole my sandwich, I'm going to ruin."
Anyway,
and that's how I viewed the world.
Anyway, so like as an adult, and as an adult with mental health issues, what was it like for you trying to get help or the support or going to seek help?
Right, well, this comes into my inadequacies, and this is where the anxiety really kicks in. Growing up, I had an interest in psychology, so when I had free time, I was down the library reading books, and there was big words I did not understand, so I had a thesaurus, trying to figure out what the words meant, and I eventually got bored of this. And I started watching programs about psychiatry and psychology and stuff, and having a psychologist as a child. He didn't know what was wrong with me because when I was in that environment, I was happy. But he always noticed I was nervous when my dad was around. Growing up, because of the fact that I've always thought that therapists were these like, yes, yes, yes. I see.
Yeah,
you hate your father. You have deep-seated anger issues because of your father. You must confront him. I don't want to go through that textbook bullshit.
It's that stereotype of people have stereotyped the mental health professionals and therapists and whatnot. And I think was that one of the things that put you off? Was the stereotypes that have been brought around?
Because the thing is I consider myself quite an intellectual person. I mean, I'm not Einstein, but I've got a fairly good IQ, just above average, not to toot my own horn as it were. But like reading up on psychology, I'm really like, if somebody came to me with the same problem I'm having and said, "John, I'm having this problem," I can be like, "This is how you deal with it. Go here, do this, do that."
Yeah, you'll be able to see it in them, and you'll be able to help them.
But when they say the same back to me, same stuff to me, I'm like, that's not going to work. I give them the same excuses. I don't see it because I figure that I know me well. I know what I'm thinking better than anybody because of the fact that it's me that's thinking it. and everybody else, including you, Suki, can only assume what I'm thinking because of the way I am. So when I went to go to do the therapy, I was very nervous about it, about being judged, not by the therapists, but by the other people there, because it was a group one. I didn't want to go in there and go, yeah, well, you know, I get upset over like dirty plates, and them going, you're not really depressed, you're a.
So you feel like your mental health issues aren't as bad as everyone else's, so it doesn't deserve the same. You didn't want to downplay theirs with yours because theirs worse. Or...
Kind of. It's like, I know that everybody in the world's got a problem. Be it money, be it anger, be it drinking, drugs, gambling, whatever. Everybody's got a problem. Everybody's got a vice. Everybody's got that one little thing that is you don't touch that. I'm quite happy to tell people that I've got mental health issues, and because of the stigma that goes with mental health, like when people talk to me and it's like I'll talk to people in the lift, strangers will be like, oh, it's a nice day, innit? And people are like, yeah, thanks, yeah, cheers, yeah. Like, who's this fucking dude talking to me in the lift? Which puts them on edge, which makes me feel better. That sounds harsh. Makes me feel better because it's not an awkward, in the lift. So I just say, oh, it's a nice day. It's my way of dealing with that anxiety. What I feel is if you're in a situation where you think it's gonna be awkward if you talk, make it awkward. Because you never know. That person could be feeling the damn same thing. Do I look at them like, I've got a question for all those people out there with mental health. When you get into a lift or an elevator and there's somebody in there you do not know, do you do this?
Just look at the wall.
Every which way to avoid them.
Watch the number in the screen going up or down.
Every which way to avoid them.
Yeah.
If you meet someone that does that in the lift, just say something like, if it's a cold day, it's cold out there. Just anything. Right? And if they just look,
ease the tension and ease their anxiety.
Yeah. Well, when I say anything, don't be like, oh, I just killed a chicken, because that really freaks them out. I tried that one for a while, but.
But yeah. So
once is enough.
Do you think if this be my last question, do you think if people were more open and honest about mental health and there wasn't stigma about it, do you think there would be more help and support for people like you? And do you think that people with mental health would feel more comfortable in seeking help for it?
Well, to answer that slowly, would there be more help? No, I don't think there would be, because the help stems from what can be provided via the government and what charities can get via donations. If there was not so much a stigmata, it was more widely known, maybe people might put more money into it. But it'll be a case of that it becomes so well known as an object, like part of daily life, that people probably won't try, because, like, an example, way back when, women weren't allowed to wear trousers in the workplace. Hell, some of them weren't even allowed to work. But now they work everywhere. No one goes, oh, there's people working, we must protest their right. So if it becomes part of natural society that everybody is mentally ill, they have mental health, and the stigma goes away, then no one's going to get any help, I don't think, because it'll become normal.
What I mean is, like, say, when people get an illness like chickenpox or the flu, right? They're open to talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, I've got flu this week, I've got to go to the doctor to get the flu jab, and there's no stigma or taboo around that, around having the flu. But around mental health, people don't feel able to go to the doctor and talk about their mental health and say, look, I need help with this, I need some medication for it or something, because they're scared of the judgment they will get from friends, family, strangers, because there's so much stigma and stereotypes, and because it's still a taboo today about it, That's the kind of thing I mean, of people
Well,
feel empowered? Will they feel more empowered to stand up and say, yes, I've got a problem, I need help? Do you think you'd feel more empowered to do that if mental health there wasn't stigma around it and wasn't a taboo, if it was widely talked about and there was no judgment along with it? Do you think you'd feel more empowered to go and get that help that you need?
Personally, because I've seen it's becoming more and more out there, I don't think I'd be more empowered to get the help if it was more and more out there, because I would be worried that because it's out there and it's in the public eye, people are going to be like, oh, you're just doing it for attention. Because I know a lot of people, like when self-harm was the rage, I know a lot of people are going, oh yeah, I cut myself. Why? Oh, I burnt a cupcake, I'm really depressed. Are you really fucking depressed? You burnt a cupcake, so you sliced your arm open.
So you're worried that if it comes in the public eye too much, that people will jump it on the bandwagon and use it as an attention.
Yeah, there's a lot of teenagers out there at the moment that are going through the changes where their mind is being rewired because of, changes in the body. And simple things that adults go, come on, grow up, to them are like, like they left their phone at home, end of the world, it's like, then they get depressed because their phone's at home. It's like, why?
So do you think if, say, like in schools, children were taught, as well as sexual health and, religious studies, if they were taught mental health studies, if they were taught about mental health and what it is and how to spot it, do you think kids, as they grow up, will be more... they would know more about it. They would be...
Yes, they would know more about it.
To deal with it.
One of the things that I'm not against educating people on mental health, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing this video. But it's... if you teach people that are young, that are not yet developed in themselves, understand their full potential, you give them some information that they can then use and apply to their daily life, which is a good thing, I think. They then can create the issues themselves. For instance, if I were to describe inadequacy, right? What is a feeling of inadequacy, right? Feeling of inadequacy is not meeting up to one's self-expectations or somebody else's expectations, right? So, for instance, if you want to run the 100 meters and you get knackered after 10 seconds, you think, well, I'm never going to be an athlete. That's a feeling of inadequacy. You teach a kid that this is wrong to feel, but it's okay, it's just you're mentally ill. They get a C+ on their next test when they were hoping for a B.
Yeah.
Now we have another mental health patient. Now we have more pills going into a kid that doesn't need it.
It has to, if it's going to be taught.
Knowledge is power, it has to be taught correctly.
Yeah.
But if you teach the wrong generation...
Do you think there definitely needs to be an open dialogue about it?
There needs to be more awareness. There needs to be, not necessarily part of the curriculum, but there needs to be like school counsellor that holds, let's say, once a month, a group meeting for all the kids with the issues to just come and talk. Because we watched a program called 13 Reasons Why, which was about a girl who commits suicide.
That was a really good program.
And she left tapes to all the people in her life, and it went round in a circle, and each tape would talk about another person and how it affected her. And one of the characters in it, no spoilers, was genuinely nice to the girl, but then he got angry with her because she was feeling anxiety and inadequate, and that contributed down the line to how she judged other people. And after watching that program, as much as harrowing as it was, it's like each episode it just gets darker and darker and deeper into the mind of this girl. And then it shows that she looked fine. She was happy. She didn't do any of this, I'm going to hurt myself. You would not have spotted it a mile off. Not even the parents knew, and they...
Yeah, with mental health, you can't always see it. It's not always there on the outside, plain to see. So...
She even goes to see the counsellor in it.
But yeah,
but without that, it could have been a lot worse.
But that program, 13 Reasons Why, is on Netflix, and it's a very interesting program.
Check it out.
go check it out. But for now, I think that ends the video nicely here.
Yeah.
And I want to let you all know about John's YouTube channel he's starting up. He'll be doing videos about mental health and other things.
Yeah.
So
it used to be called Channel AOS, but I scrapped that because I'm lazy and I felt that I searched it, there's too many. So then I searched my own name, my surname, and it's available. So I rebranded my channel. It is now Channel Mannix, Mannix. I will be doing videos a bit more about my experiences in life, more in-depth videos on depression and stuff like that. I'll even get materials to show you what the textbook says and how that applies to life. They'll be coming within the next few weeks, I hope. Fingers crossed, let's hope I actually get off my backside and do it. Always stay tuned to Suki because she's been doing some really good work, and the reason I want to do my YouTube is not to steal any thunder from her, but because of the fact that she's actually inspired me to voice myself out there. So if any of you people out there that have mental health issues and are really sad and you feel like you're never going to get anywhere, make videos. It doesn't matter if you get 1 subscriber or 1,000,000 subscribers. If you put out there like a message, I'm just using a blank piece of paper, you can just imagine your message here saying, help me.
Yeah, you don't have to speak in the message in the video. You can do Dropboard videos, which is where you have a sheet of paper or card with your message written on it.
Yeah.
And you can have a few different bits of cards with it all written on, and then hold it up, drop it down. I believe it was. I did a video, a Dropboard video
about Marfan syndrome.
About Marfan syndrome. I think that's on my other channel.
Yeah.
And I think a few music artists did it in some of their videos. I think it was Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan did it originally.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you could do it like that, and you could have music in the background. So you don't have to speak if you're anxious about speaking on camera. You don't have to do that. You know, you can just write it all out on Dropboards and do it that way.
And if you don't feel like doing videos at all, get a diary, a journal, right? Keep your normal one if you've got one that says, like, today I did this, that, and the other. Get one just for your emotions. Or one, or maybe 2. Get one for your accomplishments as well. I've got 2 diaries, right? One of them I write how I feel in really poorly scriggly writing so that no one can read it but me, and sometimes even I can't read it. Oh, what the hell was that word? What the fuck was I doing today?
Yeah, sorry.
But and one for accomplishments, even if it's a little thing. Like, that's helped me out a lot because I play video games. Every time I get an achievement on a video game, whoop-de-doo, you completed a level, well done. Well, that's going in my book because I completed a level, it's on my profile, there it is.
Yeah, the smallest little achievement, looking back on it, you can be like, well, last week, like if you're feeling down, you can look back at your diaries and go, well, last week I accomplished this.
Yeah.
This is what I did last week. And that can help you bring your mood up and help you feel a little better. So, yeah.
And we are notorious for running over time, I do apologise.
Yeah, anyway.
But just to finish up, and I promise to finish here, with these emotional diaries, they have helped. A lot of people have tried them and it hasn't worked. It's not going to fix you overnight. It's a long-term thing, like Suki said, looking back at the little things you accomplished. Last month, right, I got twice the amount of achievements than I did the month before. All that shows me is that I play video games a lot more, but I'm getting better at them. Okay? So for all those people out there, carers included, if you have somebody that you know that has depression, mental health issues, don't be scared to talk to them about it because you might be that one person that they need to talk to. And with that, I say thank you very much for the interview, Suki.
Yep.
And I look forward to doing more videos, and hopefully you'll do some videos with me on my channel.
Yep. So thanks for watching this video, everyone. I shall see you all later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm